What is going on, Senpai Squad? Welcome back to a brand new video, and today we've got the review for episode 84 of Boruto. Now, I was really hoping that this episode would continue with the good, fast, brilliant pacing of the previous two episodes, which I absolutely loved. But unfortunately, yet again, it's come to a standstill in terms of pacing. I feel as though that has been my main issue with this entire arc so far. It's been dragged on way longer than it ever needed to be. And because of that, it still doesn't show any signs of stopping yet, which usually, you know, it wouldn't sound like a problem, but it is purely for the fact that every single time this arc seems to finally get going and consistently have good episode after good episode, it comes to a standstill. And maybe calling them good episodes isn't quite the best way to put it, but every time it starts to get a bit of momentum, it stops. The momentum stops and they have to pause and they bring in another slow-paced episode. And that has been my main issue. If it wasn't for the terrible pacing of this arc, then this arc really could have been something really good in the Boruto series and probably would have been the best anime original arc. Whether that's an achievement or not is down to you, but still, the point stands that this arc has, and maybe this is going over the top, but been ruined by terrible pacing. Now, I've put a link in the description down below to a Reddit post which highlights the meaning behind the entire arc behind Mitsuki and the Japanese philosophy of emptiness and how being empty can sometimes be a good thing in finding who you truly are, all of that. Basically, I'm not going to go through it in this video because it is way too long to do so, but I do recommend you check it out. It does kind of give a bit of extra insight as to what the Japanese people are kind of putting into this arc and where they're getting the ideas from and what the story behind it truly is, because I know a lot of people that have a problem with this arc because they can't see the lesson from it, because most arcs usually have, you know, a lesson behind them, especially when they're targeted towards children, which, let's be honest, a lot of the Boruto anime is. So if you're a bit confused about that and unsure as to what all this is coming from, then I do recommend you read that Reddit post in the description below. So then I asked some of you guys on YouTube and Twitter to leave your thoughts and opinions on this episode, and that we would go through them in today's review. So let's do exactly that. So then the first topic a lot of you guys brought up is the fact that it wasn't necessarily a bad episode, it was just incredibly slow, and that's exactly how I felt about this this entire episode. Like I was saying before, it brought down what was good pacing straight back to being boringly slow. We also had that famous line from Boruto of, "I defeated the Otsutsuki." Now, as soon as Boruto said that, I could almost feel tons of people watching the episode go into an utter breakdown. Now, I understand that Boruto worded that so poorly, so poorly, but technically, he's not wrong. Nowhere is he necessarily implying that he killed the entire clan, because, at least to my knowledge, I don't even think he knows that it's like, he doesn't know what the Otsutsuki are. He does not realise it's a race of godly beings, you know? So, as far as he's aware, yeah, he did defeat the Otsutsuki. He landed the finishing blow. He did go toe-to-toe with Momoshiki for a small period of time. You know, he dodged one of his attacks, had a little taijutsu sparring match with him. And at the end of the day, if Boruto wasn't there, the Kages would be dead. It's as simple as that. But if I speak, I'm in trouble. So to answer Liltus's question, no, Boruto didn't lie, but he did word it like an absolute moron. But moving on to the meat of this episode, the talk between Boruto and Inoki and Mitsuki and Ku. Now, I wanted to bring up this point from Rasen. He says that, while I don't agree with the method, I fully understand Inoki's way of thinking. And I kind of see where you're coming from, because I'm really conflicted as to what to make of Inoki, because part of me does understand, but at the same time, part of me just doesn't, if that makes any sense at all. Like, what he's saying would make 100% if the younger generation was full of weaklings, but they're not. That's the thing. So that's what confuses me. I can understand where Inoki's coming from, because in other circumstances, yes, he would be right. But in the current circumstances, when you've got people, you know, like maybe the Stone Village, maybe he's more referring closely to them. But you've got people like Boruto, Mitsuki, all of these, they're not weaklings, you know? So I'm just confused as to what to make of Inoki. But one thing I am glad of is that they've not portrayed Inoki as a villainous mastermind like some people were having a breakdown over when he was first revealed to be the villain of the arc. They've just portrayed him to be more of like a senile old guy who's just taken things the wrong way. We also had the development between Boruto and Inoki when they was talking about the stone, the will, all of this type of stuff. It was kind of in contrast to the conversation that Lord Q and Mitsuki were having. I was completely shocked at the reveal of Lord Q actually being a synthetic human, because I personally did not see that coming whatsoever, and I'm a little bit unsure what to make of it as of yet, because I had it in my head nailed down that he is the biological son of Inoki, but obviously that's not the case. So I'm not saying it's a bad thing, it's just it might take me a minute or two to actually get used to this plot change. Another thing I want to bring up, which is something that none of you guys actually mentioned, was Sekie and all of his Ikuta buddies again, because I actually really love these guys, and they're probably the only anime original villains in the Boruto series I've actually cared for. All of the others, I mean, I probably couldn't even tell you their names. Honestly, I could not tell you their names at all. I mean, I think there was Shizuma. I remember Shizuma. The rest of his gang, you know, the Hidden Mist boys, not a clue. The people on Boruto Team 7's first mission at the bridge and whatnot, it's no idea. So, you know, these villains, although this arc has its problems, Sekie and all of his friends have been a massive highlight of it. It also seems as though the scientist and Lord Q have a potential plan in place to deal with Mitsuki's curse mark, which is clearly being built up to be one of the main focuses towards the climax of this arc. Overall, I thought the episode was okay. I really wish they kept the same pacing as the previous two, because like I've said multiple times, every time it goes somewhere, it stops again. And it's just kind of put a sour taste in my mouth towards this arc. It looks as though next episode we're going to see one of those hidden stone ninja that we saw at the tuning exams. You know, the ones that got absolutely humiliated. I'm really, really excited to see him again. Can't wait, because it looks as though he's going to get some massive character development as well while he's with Boruto and Inoki, because, you know, we know next to nothing of these guys, so the more we know, the better, especially when it's side characters like that. So, yes, like I said, overall, not bad, but definitely had its problems, and you could say it was a little bit boring. But guys, thank you so much for watching. Leave your thoughts and opinions on this episode in the comment section down below. Subscribe if you're not ready to become a member of the Senpai Squad, and I'll see you guys in another video. But until then, peace.